Hello, YouTube. I'm so glad to be back with you again and talking to you. I'm taking a vacation on our channel here, the INS Banker. Uh, I want you to be uh, an INS banker at some point in time in your career. Early on is better. It was for me, and it helped me get started and going. So I have to say, early on is better. But at some point in time, try to get your career headed down where you're operating your real estate business, your real estate investing, your uh, lending if you're doing private lending, which we do. We do a good bit of that too. Do it out of a tax shelter that you're able to minimize any taxation coming your way through a tax sheltered program, much like a Roth IRA. Tell people so. But I've been off vacationing down at the beautiful Gulf Coast, Destin, Florida, and it's next door community there is called Miramar. So I've actually been in Miramar for 9 days. I was in the Orange Beach, Alabama coast for 8 days and enjoyed it. I enjoyed, especially. I told someone, my son, I think that the splitting those really helped me not get bored and to stay plugged in with the local area that I was in, learning and actually done a lot of real estate in Destin. I found it to be so beautiful that it was attractive to me from a real estate investing standpoint. So I got out 3 or 4 afternoons and did some canvassing and looking and trying to find a deal there so that we could participate in that real estate growth down there. Some of the prices are just awesome. It make you shake your head at people, you know, in neighboring areas are paying 25-30% less than what I saw in that Miramar beach. But if you haven't been there, you need to go and visit. It's one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen, and it'll make you, in my mind, I realized that what was really selling the real estate there was the beaches, and people spend a half a day on that beach there. They come away saying, "Hey, this is where I want to be. I need to get something here, or I want to rent something here, or I want to buy something here." So I would encourage you to go down first chance you get and visit that, and you'll see some of the most beautiful area this country has to offer. Coming back, I planned a series on landlording. Buying hold of real estate is most people's way to wealth in real estate. They're holding it. They're utilizing the what I call the 5 pillars of real estate and teaching off of that, meaning tax advantages, uh, the appreciation component that you get out of real estate's been good in the 2020. It's been extra good most of that time. And so appreciation has really been felt. And usually about 3%, but we've been up around 15% 3 out of the last 4 years. Seven, I think, was that other year. So it's been, extra good recently. Uh, and then you've got tax reduction that you get from the advantages of real estate. Um, and then the fourth component I think of is cash flow coming through, and that's what we're going to primarily spend my time on today. Is good landlording is critical, and you need to do it right. I think you need to be more careful today in 2024 than I can ever remember in the past many years that I've dealt in real estate rental properties. I currently have, I think, 15. I've been up as high as 30, and I found that 20 to 25 was a good comfort range for me doing all the management work along with a full-time occupation. So I'm going to talk about some things I've learned in landlording, some things I want you to take and add and do yourself, and just be careful. Try to stay out of court. One of the things on my list that I've made note of to go over with you today is I think join and get a access to the Legal Shield program. If you're touching real estate, you have multiple needs of legal assistance that will come up, and I've utilized that service more so for writing legal letters than anything else. It's hard to get an attorney to write a letter for you for less than $500 even. And Legal Shield requires one of our benefits under that is written letters, and so by their staff and their staff attorneys. So I encourage you, for the price you pay, it's a great value, and you need so often questions. You need sometimes light trial defense preparation if you're going to represent it yourself on something you figure that's not as clear cut and it's pretty small matter. Uh, so I throw that out at you, number one on my list. Great value for anybody dealing in real estate, and get the home business plan that will cover you in your real estate activities plus their basic plan. The RIA Club that I'm associated with, AIAclub.com, is where you can go on and sign up there. We have a package of benefits. If you look about halfway down that front screen, under the Platinum membership, you can get 10 or 12 major impacting provisions, and you can do that anywhere in the country. Most of those benefits are applicable in every state, and the major being Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams. You can get the group Legal Shield program and save 30% on Legal Shield right with our group if you're a part of the group. So if you're out there and you don't have access to a good RIA Club, I'm sorry, then I urge you to take advantage of ours, because we've taken ours national now. All the benefits are available national, and so you can join up with us. You can get access to our videos of the meetings, plus these short classes that I'll teach you throughout the year on the YouTube channel. So let me touch on these things I've got for you, because I want to keep this to about a 15-minute period of time, so I don't bore you. Let's look at, if you'll get a pen and paper out, I'm going to give you a few of these bullet points to take and use that I have used over the years. And I mentioned Legal Shield. Commonly, I'm finding tenants online today. Use Zillow a good bit, and these assisting other sites to place ads for rental. Also, Craigslist is another good place to get the word out. And then we have 3 Facebook groups that you can post your rental ads on. 2 of them that really would be public driven. There is one that is a members only, that we put the videos and things on for you to learn from. But 2 of them are public oriented, and individuals can see them. Plus, there's some others out there that I would encourage you to use for your ads when you're running an ad. Let's see. Treat your rental business as a business, strictly a business, and you should measure. I try to measure every property by the profitability of that property. I want it to pay for the expenses and to pay me a profit, a cash flow profit, and I try to do that. Occasionally, it's not on the plus side with a single particular property, but I still treat it that way. I want to see it profitable at the end of the year, as the other properties. Uh, Require a credit and background check. I think that is today an absolute minimum. You must do that in our area. You want a background check, and you want to know what kind of credit history they have. Have they been evicted before? Have they had other credit problems paying? Um, Really, I've heard as much as 95% by some longer term landlords, and I would say it's up there in the 90 to 95% range, that if you do a great job at selection on the front end and get a good tenant and be able to avoid the bad tenants, that is where the success comes in landlording, is selecting that good tenant. So don't get in a hurry. Don't rush things to get somebody in your property thinking and hoping that you've got a good one when you're not sure. I'd strongly suggest you be certain and avoid, because they are a lot of bad ones out there, and you don't want that experience. So try to find those and pick those out. So run a background check, run a credit history on every single client. You can charge a fee for that, an application fee, and more than cover your expense of that background check. Uh, have your rules in your lease, and in your conversation of meeting with that tenant prospect, and follow those rules. Be upfront with them. Give them the do's and don'ts right on the front end. Put it in the lease. Have it in the lease when they sign off that they're agreeing to that, to those rules. Uh, let's see, another point I want to try to keep digital records of everything at your conversations, your back and forth. If you're emailing, keep those notes. They can be very important if you have to go to court, in terms of you communicating the details of your lease and what was expected from the very front end. Uh, Once you get a good tenant, keep that tenant long term. I'm not real big about trying to squeeze 10 and 15% increases. I go up about every 2 years. I don't mind telling you mine's about every 2 years. I'll do about a 5 to 10% increase, but hopefully you're at or near the market. And I've just personally felt that it's better to keep them longer term than it is to squeeze another 10% out of them and possibly cause them to go shopping on you and trying to find something cheaper. So I just don't I'd much rather have consistency of the tenancy, and good market value rent, yes, but maybe not the very highest in the area. But longevity means a lot to me of tenants paying rent. So I have that down for you. I try to do today more rent to own. I have a rent to own program. I'll cover that in another video, where we set up that rent to own, but it is a bigger part of my activity. It's how I really plan to exit some of my real estate as we go down the road, is selling it to the tenants most often at market value, at a bit higher interest rates, so that if they want to refinance and pay it off, I encourage them to do that at any time they're eligible and available. They can cut that interest rate down by qualifying with the banks and the lenders. So I'm usually up around 10 or 11%. 11% has been my recent tendency. I quote the payments off of 11%, and whatever the retail market is, and I'll do a canvas of the marketplace. I use a software that gives me the comparable sales in the area, and though sometimes I'm surprised, I still try to adhere to them. They're quite higher today. You may be like me, just surprised in some areas that your properties are actually worth, substantially more than you maybe think they are in today's market. Uh, so give them a fair market price is perfectly fine. Is what I try to do, but I want to be in line with the market value when I do the rent to owns. I hold the I'll cover that in greater detail, but put that on your list there. Consider rent to own because you get a down payment, typically $5,000 or $10,000 down, that gives you a head start on this tenancy arrangement, and you do that under a separate option agreement, and then you have another agreement for lease. So they're two separate documents, and they are for two separate things. One being the option fee, that is, if they execute on the option and pay and do what they're supposed to do, which is primarily we're talking about pay the rent. And if they do pay the rent, then they get the property at the end of the payoff period, and they get credit for their down payment. So rent to own is a better way to go, I feel, today, even for some of you that are not looking to exit some of the properties, maybe as I am. You do it about, my experience is about half of them will stay the duration, and about half of them will decide they want to move. They want the flexibility, and they want to move. So I so far have not lost out on any of my really sincere rent-to-own candidates. They have left, but they leave on their own and usually leave paid up to the current month. Uh, so that's a good point. There is okay. Let's mention tenant screening. And tenant screening. Let me see if I have a few more notes for you here. Enforce your penalties now. Enforce those. If you start sliding on them, they'll start sliding on you. So if you've got a late fee in your lease, and you should have, then you be sure and enforce that late fee when it's due. I do all mine by automatic payments. I want to collect rents on a bank draft or credit card basis, and I get both of them. Uh, Another one I'm going to go ahead and give you is a big one that's really been beneficial to me, and not many people use it. If I'm shaky on any of these applicants at all, I mean at all, I will require two co-signers. I want two co-signers to back up this tenant. Usually a mother and father is going to be one of them, and a brother, sister, or cousin, somebody that's related to them often is best, I've found. And so I'll insist that we have co-signers for me to be able to move forward with the lease. And that has came through for me multiple of times, that I have actually turned and drafted mother or father for that rent, and they usually do the hard talking after that to that child about paying their rent first, and that's their number one bill, and so it's been very, very meaningful for me. Routine inspections is always good. I usually do a couple a year, and I do that sometimes when I'm, delivering something or going by for some reason to see something. That I'll do a routine inspection to see how they're caring for the property, and so encourage you to do the same thing. So that's some good landlording tips for you today. Without getting too much, I'm going to continue the series and expound on it. So I'll in another video we'll go over some of the other things that you can do to protect yourself and hopefully not get in some expensive litigation and turn you off on cash flow real estate, because that's where the bulk of my gains and wealth, if you want to use that word, has came from is buying, holding real estate for long periods of time, and deducting it off of my income taxes, anything that was deductible, and including the depreciation, which is a phantom loss. So do consider seriously buying and holding your real estate. Now, I do like to flip properties today. We'll talk a little bit about that in another video. But and I accumulated all of my early money in my INS banking system for 12 to 15 years. All of the money was put into that banking, which allowed me to have credit that was guaranteed. I could buy real estate and never worry about getting turned down for a loan. And I did that lots of times. I bought out equities, low equities that people had, took over mortgages subject to the mortgages. But you need money to cover those gaps, and borrowing money from the INS banking system was the best I ever found. And I learned this long ago, probably done it longer than anybody in America, frankly, because that came at a time when I had no credit. I had nothing built up to lean to a regular bank. And I'm thankful today that that was the case, because I never became dependent on the banks. I thought I would. After a few years, I thought I'd do the same thing that many of you others have, is use banks, regular banks, to try to deal with and depend on. And that is not a favorable thing. Never has been for me. Their charges, their expenses, their closing costs, all of that stuff is adverse to what my banking system allows me to do. So thank you for joining in today. Look at AIAclub.com about joining it. Maybe you can become a part. Hit the email box and we'll send you some of our notices. Also, we're building out and developing this YouTube channel. We'll have some great things on there. In fact, we've got 3 courses, I think full courses, already stored on our channel of the Be an INS Banker. So you can do some random reading on there now of those courses and not have any charge to you. We're giving you that. That includes buying real estate from probate court is one of those. Very intriguing, interesting way to invest in real estate. Another one is buying foreclosures and the hidden market, that is vacant properties out there that they don't have signs in front of them. Nobody knows they're for sale. And with the how to do that and how to track that down is in some of those notes on our system there with the YouTube channel. Also, the third one I think that we've got on there is creative financing, taking it further, doing creative financing, using the sellers to finance properties for us is a large part of that, and how to make those offers to the seller attractive to them, so that because naturally they're going to say, hey, I want cash, I prefer cash. So that entire training series is on our channel there. So I encourage you to do that. If you want a one-on-one meeting with me, then make a notation of it on the channel, or either telephone the phone number, and we'll set up a one-on-one and talk about buying and holding real estate. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back